What's up guys, welcome back. I am Justin Colby and this video is about contractors. As a rehabber who's done over 500 rehab deals here in Arizona and other states, it has always been the bane of my existence, and I have my contractor here, Spencer, here out of K10. I made sure he knew how to market his company. He is the actual man that has made flipping again for me easy, fun, enjoyable, and massively profitable. That's why we're all in flipping homes in the first place. As you can see, this beautiful decor is an actual mobile home that I am flipping. It is my first mobile home in 13 years that I've flipped, and I called my man Spencer here. But I want this video to be about you guys on how to find contractors, hire contractors, what to look for, what to be aware of, how to pay contractors. We're gonna knock this out the best we can so that you guys can be safe when hiring contractors. So thanks, dude. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's just have a conversation about how we can help people find good contractors.
Okay.
And let me start by saying the reason why Spencer is a great contractor for me is because he's a good business owner, right? So he comes in on a budget that is affordable, but not only that, he shows me a line item bid. So I get an actual bid emailed to me on every single dollar I am spending on this rehab. Let's talk about that, because that, in my opinion, is where people go wrong. They get quotes from contractors and then they say, okay, one's 20, one's 17, I'm taking 17.
Right. No, like even in so I built custom homes for years, and even in the custom home sector, the people that build a custom home, they get a bid from a contractor, it's one page for a $2 million home,
right,
and they end up spending $400,000 in change orders, right?
Crazy.
Time after time after time.
Yeah.
I have multiple friends that have had that happen, and it's because there wasn't any detail, right? And so making sure that your contractor gives you what is your budget for flooring, or this is the flooring that you're using, right? That when it comes to the selections on the house, those are where you can really get lost in the money, right?
For sure.
And the problem is the contractor kind of has you over a barrel at that point, right? They've already started your home, they're already halfway into it, and they look at you and go, yeah, I gave you $1 a foot for tile. And you go, really? I can't find anything that anybody likes for $1 a foot. So you go spend $4 a foot, and they mark it up, and there's your first change order, right? And so making sure that whether it's light fixtures or countertops, or what are the cabinetry that they're using? Are the cabinetry going to be 30 inches tall on the walls, 36 or 42? Is crown molding included? So making sure that items are included in your bid, instead of, there might just be a line item that says cabinetry and countertops, and you go, okay, good, that line item's checked. What is it? Right? Is he buying it at Lowe's? Is it a plywood box? Is it an MDF box? What are you getting? Right?
And so let's talk about that, because one thing, I get a lot of people that are doing their first flip, their second or third.
Right.
Do they need to know the cost of, like, should they be going to Lowe's, Home Depot, and at least getting a general idea of cost? Or is that a little irrelevant because someone like you is going to be able to do it either drastically cheaper? Is there a reason they should be doing that so they know if that contractor's in the right ballpark or not?
Right. When you're hiring your first contractor, you probably should meet with at least 2. I would recommend 3. Just so, and then that's where you're going to be able to get a bearing on your prices. Because if you meet with 3 contractors and they're pretty consistent in their pricing, or you can pick accordingly, it really doesn't matter what it costs at Lowe's. Because you're not going to go buy them and put them in yourself anyways. Right.
Agreed.
And so you're spinning your wheels or wasting your time. You need to find the contractor that you like, one that you can trust, talk to some references. A big thing in general contracting across the board, the biggest thing is people being able to finish. And so the number one thing that sets us apart from every other contractor, the reason that we're with the biggest hitters in town, right, is because we know how to finish a property.
That's right.
And that's the key point. We just took over with another investor right now. They own 90 homes in the valley, and their plan over the next 4 years is to flip them, right? But their current contractor couldn't finish things. There's one, he was doing a $30,000 scope, and it's been 6 months, right? And it's because the little things he just can't finish.
Right.
And the reason that it's not that contractors are bad, the problem that they have and the thing that sets us apart is that they're subcontracting to everybody.
That's right.
Right? And so they're subcontracting, and the guy that they subcontracted to is now getting a higher price from the other contractor, so he doesn't show up. Right? Or he gives them lip service and says, I can do that, when he can't. Right? Because he doesn't want to lose out on the work either.
Totally.
And so you become a slave to your subcontractors. And so we've said we don't do that, and we just hired all of our employees. So By making it in-house, now we know what the talent is of this guy that guy. Even though I have employees that'll tell me they can do it, I never give them the chance because I know they can't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So let's talk about two biggest mistakes I believe most investors make, which will be working with a non-licensed GC. Yeah. Right?
For sure.
Is they go to a handyman and then try to remodel a whole house. How to avoid that, what to look for, do any due diligence, and lastly, the pay structure. I believe most people mispay their contractors because they pay so heavily up front because obviously contractors want the money. Yeah. So let's dive into that really quick.
Okay. So which one do you mean?
First, let's go with the licensing. I mean, how important that it is everything,
important, right? And it's expensive. So you might come to me and say, hey, how much is this house? I say 25 grand, right? You go and find the guy that's on the corner, or he has good advertising, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But he doesn't have insurance. He doesn't have any workers' comp. So now when somebody comes into your house and they're doing work, and his subcontractor that also doesn't have workers' comp and also doesn't have insurance, he gets hurt, guess who gets to cover that? That's you.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And so we've had investors that they said, oh, I don't have an umbrella policy, right? So most investors, they don't have an umbrella policy. They don't have something to cover it. They have homeowners policy.
That's right.
On a rehab rental investment property, right?
Yeah.
And so now somebody goes and gets hurt and there's nobody that can cover that guy.
Yeah.
But he broke his leg and he can't work the rest of his life, right? Because he plans on getting up and down. And so you might save a few dollars, but you're taking a massive risk. And so I think sometimes that's okay, as long as people understand the risk that they're taking.
Totally.
Right? And so as long as you know that you're taking a risk and that here's my exposure, or that you can cover yourself accordingly, make sure you have a good insurance agent that knows about home flipping.
What insurance would you suggest? Obviously, you're not an insurance agent. What would you suggest flippers like myself should carry if they were going to go the route of a non-licensed rehabber?
Then you should have a general liability policy, right?
On my LLC.
On your LLC, and be able to cover that,
That's right?
Now, when you hire a general contractor like myself, do we have it? Yes. My cars have 1 million, 3 million, 1 million coverage, where you have like 100, 300, 100, right? Yeah. And so the price of insurance and the coverage that we have it for a reason.
That's right.
Because I need to be protected just like you do.
That's right.
The other thing, just like a snippet on insurance, because people don't understand a lot, make sure you have a good professional, right? But one of the big things that you can do is your contractor can make you an additional insured, okay? So what that means is that I have a general liability policy, right? I also have a $3 million umbrella policy that if the general liability policy doesn't cover, okay?
Yeah.
But on this property, you can say, hey, Spencer, can I get a certificate? It's $50, okay? I can assign you as a beneficiary on my policy for this property. Okay. And so you can do it property by property, and now you're covered under my policy for this house.
So on this house right now, I could go get insured under your policy.
And you're additionally insured.
And why would I want that as the LLC who owns the home that hired you?
Because now if other things happen, now you're covered. Or let's say there's a grading and drainage issue. Okay. I've had this issue before.
Yeah.
So there's a grading and drainage issue. You sold the home. We're already gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Done.
Some flooding comes into the home, and we go, we didn't do grading and drainage. Their attorney doesn't care. So now their attorney is suing you and I both.
That's right.
Right? You're in trouble because you don't have a policy.
I have no policy.
But now you're covered under my policy.
That's right.
Right? And so the things that you don't foresee, that are all unforeseen,
that's right,
you're covered.
I love that.
Right? And I think the big thing that a lot of flippers mistake, and business owners, is we forget that we have to cover things when we're done.
Yeah.
Right? Even though you already sold the house.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's exposure issues that I've been in business a long time, right? That I've seen it all. I've had the lawsuits, I've had whatever it may be. And you learn through those experiences.
That's how you really learn, for sure. And then I know you have a conference call. Let's talk about payment. I think that's, and I don't want to undervalue the insurance part, by the way. Drastically important. So make sure you have a good insurance agent to tell you that. Let's talk about payment. You and I have a certain arrangement. I don't know if it's the same with all your clients, but I, over the years, have always found that at most I'll go 50% of the total cost. That goes for labor, that goes for materials, that goes for whatever you, the contractor, need. Right. Why don't you paint a picture of that? Because I don't ever want to come in, and I've had plenty of newbie rehabbers, literally 25 grand for this house, here's 25 grand, go, and the guy's in the wind, right?
Sure. I think the biggest thing you should do is don't be afraid to write multiple checks.
Yep.
Right? So let's say it's a $25,000 scope. You can go to your contractor and say, hey, I've got 5 checks for you.
Yeah.
They're already all written. Here's your first one, here's $5,000.
Yeah.
What is covered under that? And so require them to give you a draw schedule.
Totally.
So then they can be able to say, well, what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna demo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. So here's the line items you're gonna do. That equals about $4,200 on your bid. So then you finish that, no problem. You made $800 profit. I understand profit. Now we go into this phase 2. Yep. What are we doing in phase 2? And so make them break it up into, here's phases, here's my draw schedule.
That's right.
And then pay accordingly. And then that minimizes the risk for you, and it maximizes the production you're gonna get out of that contractor.
100%.
Because not only does sometimes a contractor take off with the money, sometimes they don't take off with your money, but they did, right? And what I mean by that is that they take the $25,000, now they go to the neighbor's house, and they give them $25,000, right? Or they're on a draw schedule, so they're kind of bleeding them out a little bit, so he takes your money, he goes and finishes that.
Yes. 100%.
He finishes that house with your money.
That's it.
Right? And so that's the big thing to be careful of. Yeah. Not all contractors are bad.
No.
A lot of contractors get a bad name, but the majority of contractors that are giving us a bad name are those that don't run a business.
I was just gonna say they're just bad business people.
That's it.
And they don't even want to be bad business people.
No.
They've just never been taught the right way to do it or learned how to be a better business person. So I know you're short on time, dude. I really appreciate you doing this. I'd love to do this like once a month because this is so important.
No problem.
And then lastly, to finish that, guys, I won't cut him the last check until we do what I call a blue tape walk to make sure all the little things like doorknobs or chandeliers or whatever it may be has been replaced. They're all looking good. That's when I'll cut that last check. And then that way they're kind of on the hook. They're, okay, when do I get my last check? That's how I do that. So dude, appreciate you, dude.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I can't wait to get this thing looking
That'll be good.
way better.